Hi, I'm Bernie Raffe, a professional photographer and instructor based in Bedfordshire. I'm qualified as a photographer to associate level with the largest professional body in the UK, that's the Master Photographers Association. I've given many educational talks at camera clubs and the odd talk to professionals at one or two conventions. I'm also the creator of several complete online photography courses, and to date over 55,000 students in around 140 countries have paid to watch them. Udemy are one of the world's largest online educational platforms, and back in 2014, when they had around 20,000 instructors, I was voted one of the top 10 instructors by students. I've been a cruise speaker for about 8 years, and in that time I've spoken on 6 Fred Olsen cruises, 1 Viking cruise and 1 MSC cruise. I generally deliver 5 or 6 talks showing guests how they can easily become better photographers and how they can take amazing holiday photos with any type of camera. The talks are entertaining, informative and pretty much non-technical, so they're also perfect for smartphone users. And of course, many guests now use smartphones in preference to cameras. There's a lot of information in the talks, so I provide the guests with a summary of each talk in the form of a PDF document. On the last Viking cruise, in addition to the talks, I ran 14 one-hour practical workshops for around 10 to 12 guests, just wandering around the ship and practicing some of the techniques shown in the talks. Mind you, with all those workshops, I did need a holiday when I got home, but they were fun and I had terrific guest feedback. So much so that Viking offered me another cruise very soon after my return. Okay, that's enough of me blowing my own trumpet. Here's a few examples of my presentation. Have you ever taken what you thought was a great photo? Maybe on holiday or on a day out. You get home, load it onto your computer and it's a bit disappointing. It's not terrible, but it just kind of looks a bit dull and uninteresting. You know the scene looked lovely, you were there. You just haven't captured it in its full glory. So why does that happen? Well, I'll give you a little clue. It's not the camera. Of course, it's the person behind the camera. Yes, you. Chances are you just didn't make the best use of the lights or composition or posing if you had people in the photo. In my series of talks, you'll discover many tricks and tips for getting great photos. These are techniques that professional photographers and also filmmakers use to add drama and impact to their photos and films. They're easy to understand and do, and most of them don't require any special settings, so they also work a treat on smartphones. Okay, let's get started with a neat little composition trick. Now, good composition can really improve a photo. The composition sets the mood for the shot and helps to tell the story. So sometimes just a quick change of the camera angle or position will give you a much better photo. Studies have shown that when we look at an image, our eyes don't actually go straight to the centre of the image. They kind of skirt around the edges first. So with that in mind, if you were to split the frame up into evenly spaced horizontal and vertical lines, like say in a noughts and crosses game, where those lines intersect or are positioned is often the best place to put your subject. Here's a few examples. In this shot, notice how the small lighthouse and horizon are aligned along rule of third lines. Put the lighthouse into the centre of the frame and doesn't look quite as good, does it? Here's a quick video shot in my local park. Notice that the bandstand is in the middle, but now I change the camera angle so that the bandstand is repositioned and placed on one of the intersections. I take the picture, and if you compare it to the one of the bandstand in the middle, I think you'll agree that while not exactly an award-winning image, it does look better. Here's a few more examples. This one along the Grand Union Canal in Bedfordshire, you can see where I position the barge. The light is beautiful, isn't it? I'll show you how you can achieve a similar look in my next talk. And of course, the rule of thirds works just great for portraits. Here's a few more from various cruise holidays. As you can see, the subject is on a third in each one, and that didn't happen by accident. Here's an old screenshot from the iPlayer. Look at where they've positioned the faces of Jeremy Vine and dear old lovely Terry Wogan. Obviously the BBC person who designed the page has been on one of my talks. Anyway, now that you're aware of the rule of thirds, you'll start noticing how often it's used in films, dramas, wildlife, travel and all manner of TV programmes. For this short presentation, let's move on to how an understanding and good use of light can transform your holiday photos. There's no doubt that this understanding of light is more important and far more useful than a whole bag full of expensive equipment. For one thing, it doesn't cost anything, plus you don't have to carry it around with you. So I want to show you how just by recognising the direction of the light, especially when the sun is shining, and adjusting your position when taking a photo, how it can have a remarkable impact on the photos. Now, the light can obviously come from several directions. The sun can be in front of you, overhead, behind you, but in many cases, especially for holiday scenes and landscapes, having the sun off to the side will give you a better photo. Look at this light in the shot of Urquhart Castle on Loch Ness. The sun is shining from the right, so you get that lovely light and shade on the castle, and also on the ground in front of it, and in the reflection. Same as in this shot, the light and shade on both the structure and on the foreground really gives the image depth and provides an almost 3D effect. Also, when it comes to taking photos of buildings, you often want to show the texture or patterns on the building. This wall is lit from the sides, so you can clearly see the texture of the wall. You wouldn't see it so clearly had the light come from behind the camera. To illustrate that better, here's a short experiment I carried out at a local church. These two walls are at different angles to each other. You can see from my shadow that the first wall is almost facing the light, whereas this wall is at an angle and lit from the side. So I'm just taking a quick shot here with my compact camera of the side on wall. And now another shot of the other wall, which pretty much faces the light. Here's the comparison of the two photos. You can clearly see the brickwork and texture of the side lit wall, not so much of the other one. So that's a good tip to bear in mind when taking photos of a building. Sure, it means you may have to wait and come back a little later when the sun has moved around, but it will be worth it. So that's it for this short presentation. I hope it gave you a flavour of my talks. Thank you for watching.